Having a good hair day is a journey, and having a great hair day while dancing for hours out in the elements, well, that's a marathon. The Seahawks dancers show me how to keep it all pristine as we whip our hair back and forth. So let's get the party going. New Day Northwest starts right now.
It's a new day.
Now, from the Virginia Mason Franciscan Health Studio at King 5 in downtown Seattle, this is New Day Northwest.
Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm Kelly Hansen. I'm not sure if I have whiplash now, but I probably won't feel it for a few hours, so I think we're good to go. The sacrifices that we make for work, right? Well, it won't be a sacrifice at all to taste the delicious bread from my first guest. Aran Goyoaga, James Beard finalist, food stylist, and now editor-in-residence at America's Test Kitchen. Her new cookbook, The Art of Gluten-Free Bread, is a game changer, and she's here to show us how gluten-free baking is both beautiful and delicious. Hello, Aran. Thank you for being here.
Kelly. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so what are we making today? Because all of this smells absolutely amazing.
We're going to make a buttery brioche dough, and we're going to taste it. But I'm going to show you how to make the whole thing. And then I'm going to have you taste two more things that you can make with that dough, which are cinnamon rolls and a chocolate swirl brioche.
Oh, wow. This is going to be absolutely the best thing that's happened to me. What do you love about this particular recipe, too?
I love that it's so versatile. You can make so many different things with it. You can actually even make donuts, like brioche donuts with it and fill it with cream. You can make babka, tons of holiday bakes, pecan rolls, all that kind of stuff is based on this dough, which is a brioche dough.
And it's gluten-free.
Yeah,
That's what's blowing my mind this morning. How do we get started?
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so first we're going to activate our yeast. So we have 10 grams of active dry yeast, and it needs a little bit of sugar to get going. And we're going to mix it with 250 grams of warm milk.
Warm. And warm is?
It's important that it's warm, so it opens. It's not open up, but active dry yeast has outer shells that are a little bit dead cells, so you have to break them apart with warm liquids to be able to get to the center, which is the active part of it. Okay. So, and we're going to give it a little whisk, and this is going to brew for about 10 minutes, and it's going to get very bubbly. And this is the magic of TV. We're going to set it aside so it does its thing.
And like it's been 10 minutes.
I'm going to come back to it. Then we're going to mix our flours. And in gluten-free bread baking, because you don't have the elasticity of gluten, you really need to work in a combination of whole grain flours and starches and binders that are going to mimic that structure and elasticity of wheat flour and gluten that is in the wheat flour.
Interesting. So that's why you have several?
This is potato starch. For something like a brioche that's very fluffy and light, you want to have a higher ratio of starch to whole grain. If you had something that was very high in whole grain, you would get something a little bit darker, richer, denser, and not as fluffy as like an enriched bread should be. So this is 200 grams of potato starch.
Okay.
And then we're going to add 180 grams of tapioca starch. And potato starch and tapioca starch are a little bit different in that this is a little bit more binding, more of a glue than a potato is. And then we're going to add a little bit of whole grain flour, which is sorghum. And sorghum kind of has a bit of that wheat flavor. It doesn't have the same characteristics and structure as wheat does, but it does have a bit of a wheaty flavor, so I like to use it.
Definitely.
And then we're going to add sugar.
All of it?
Yes. It is an enriched dough. It is supposed to be sweet. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt.
That looks like fancy salt, too.
It's a little bit fancy.
Okay, a little.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to kind of blend this together. And now I want to show you after let's pretend it's been 10 minutes.
Right.
And we have our yeast already.
Oh,
nice.
That's how
you see
it looks.
how it's so bubbly?
It is.
So this is already activated and it's ready to ferment further. Before we mix that into our dry ingredients, I'm going to add psyllium husk powder to it.
Oh, what's that?
Psyllium husk powder is a fiber, kind kind of like a, like flaxseed is a fiber,
Yeah.
chia seed is fiber. This is a fiber of a plantago plant. And it's absorbs a lot of moisture, so it makes gluten-free dough very bouncy. You will see what it feels like.
Yeah, which
once we
is
mix
different.
it.
Sometimes I don't have the best experience when I'm trying some gluten-free. Bouncy would not be the word for some of it.
Yes,
but-
I totally understand that. And this gels really quickly, so it turns into, like a gel.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this aside. And
Oh, I see all the bubbles. Yes.
Yes, it's from all the yeast. So we're going to add our yeast and psyllium mixture.
It's like an oatmeal almost consistency there.
It does. And I didn't let it fully congeal, but it does become a little bit more like gelatin. And then we're going to add eggs, 3 eggs to
Three
this.
eggs. Some wet ingredients.
Some wet ingredients. You really need eggs for brioche to
Yeah.
be fluffy and bouncy.
Oh, what's this?
This is vanilla that
yours
vanilla
is
extract.
so fancy. I like it.
Anytime I have vanilla beans that I just use the seeds, I put them in this jar and I fill it with vodka. I keep filling it with vodka.
Oh,
So
gosh.
there we go. It's 2 teaspoons.
Eyeball it. You're a pro.
I am. I know. And then this is orange zest.
Orange zest.
It's not. You don't have to have orange zest in brioche, but I really like a little bit of that.
Oh, it's so fragrant.
citrusy
Yum.
and a little floral. And then we're going to mix this together.
By hand, or are you
And-
putting this on the mixer?
I'm going to do it in the mixer just because
Yeah.
it's a little bit easier. And also, sorry, I don't know this mixer very well. Hopefully I have it in right.
I think you're in.
Okay, perfect. The mixer will get it much smoother.
Okay, the consistency, more of what you want.
Yes, all mixed together. And so as soon as this is going to mix for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to start adding butter to it slowly.
Oh, slowly.
So it has a lot of butter
Yeah.
also. And this is room temperature, very soft butter. So it will get incorporated into it. It'll be very elastic and smooth.
Amazing. Well, that's going to, I want to talk about, things are getting better with gluten-free offerings, but I feel like sometimes it can be an afterthought. Do you have this feeling?
I do. I feel like gluten-free baking is slowly coming out of a niche,
Yeah.
And that's always been my intention, is that people don't think of it as like, something that you're going to make just for that person that can't have gluten. That these are baked goods that everybody can enjoy, and that everybody that loves making bread should try gluten-free bread, because there's a lot of flavor and texture in alternative flours like buckwheat, teff, sorghum, like I said, millet, quinoa. There's so many flours that don't have gluten but are also really delicious and actually nutritious.
Definitely. And tell us about the book and how putting this together went.
So I've been actively working every single day on this book for 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. But it's really the culmination of the work that I've done for the last decade with researching bread and gluten-free flours, techniques, and so it's finally coming out.
Oh
September
my
23rd.
gosh. Okay, and you brought some other pastries too from the book. I'm going to taste test these while this is whipping.
Okay.
What are some of these too, you said?
Cinnamon rolls. Classic cinnamon roll, butter, brown sugar, cinnamon.
I'm in.
Rolled with a cream cheese frosting.
Oh, delicious. Gluten-free, I can't believe it. And then you said this one was chocolate swirl.
This is chocolate swirl. So it's the same recipe we're making, but I kind of mix chocolate in it, and then it gets baked. We should cut into that too, because it's really pretty.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
so
Okay, so you're putting the butter in.
This we keep adding butter, and I'm gonna, for time's sake,
Yes.
I'm going to stop it, and I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
show you what it's gonna look like.
Oh, there it is. Okay. And now what? Oh, the cinnamon roll is delicious.
Oh, good. So this is the consistency of the dough. So you see it's very bouncy. It doesn't, if you try to stretch it like gluten dough, it will break.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't have the same pull, or like gluten is actually a very elastic protein. It's almost like a rubber band, right? So if you don't have that, then it's very hard to mimic. But this will rise, and we will cut into the brioche, and you'll get
So
to
while you're
see.
doing that, I'm going to cut into taste tests.
So if we have time, I can show you how I usually like to put it in the pan. So I cut it into 6 pieces.
Oh, this looks so fluffy. Delicious.
And then each piece gets kneaded and shaped into a ball. And then it goes in the pan. So all 6 pieces of dough go in the pan.
Wow.
Kind of.
Your technique
Nested.
is amazing. Oh my gosh, this bread has changed my life. I don't even know what to say. It is so bouncy and fluffy. I would never, ever guess that this
That's
was
gluten-free.
gluten-free. This is the
Yeah.
best I've ever
Awesome.
tried. Thank you so much for being here. And Aran's cookbook will come out on September 23rd. And that Tuesday night, she'll be in conversation with another New Day favorite, Kenji Lopez Alt, sponsored by Book Larder in the Fremont Abbey Arts Center. And it starts at 7 o'clock. And it's fall, y'all, and that means pumpkins everywhere. Later in the show, I get a pumpkin porch decorating lesson from Valerie at Sky Vale Farm in Monroe. She even runs a pumpkin concierge service if you don't want to decorate yourself. But up next, some quick hairstyling tips with Chromatique Salon, how they help glam up the Seahawks dancers, and what tricks that can help us every day. So stay with us. It seems there's never a bad hair day for the Seahawks dancers, and I need to know all of the styling tips. To walk us through the quick glam, Chromatique CEO Samantha Lawrence is here, along with Seahawks dancer and squad leader Lillian Collins. Hello, ladies.
Hi. We're so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. You look stunning. You both do. Samantha, you're going to walk us through. We're going straight to the demo because you say this is quick, right?
It's very quick, yep.
What are you showing us?
So we are showing you our game day ready hair. This is a really quick, we literally have like 5 minutes for every dancer to style them before the game. So we go to the stadium and we actually get them ready for the game, the Seahawks game.
Oh my gosh, so this partnership, you have 5 minutes, like you said, each person, but at the start of the season, you do something really cool. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we work with the director to actually create a look for each of the dancers, and they come to the salon and we do the look, and then they are ready for the season.
Okay, and this is what we're seeing, tons of movement on the field that you're doing. Lillian, does your hair stay put like this during these dances?
Absolutely. Chromatique is magical, and they keep it, it's ready to go.
That is insane. You look absolutely beautiful. So with curling the hair, Samantha, like what you're doing, what are the tricks here?
Well, so the dancers come pretty prepped, and I'm just going in and I'm kind of looking for the curl pattern, and I'm just re-curling that little pattern. We do a little touch up around the face because obviously that's kind of important, but I can even take like big chunks here and just go in.
Wow.
And kind of re-encourage
Is there a
that curl.
certain way that you're like curling it to the like hair near the face? Are you supposed to go a different way?
So we definitely curl away from the face, and then I'm kind of picking up randomly and going away from the face, and then I might do one kind of towards the face because we don't want it to be all one direction.
Is that just showing more dimension or
Yeah,
what? Okay.
Definitely giving it a little bit more movement.
And then talk to me about the tool that you're using too, because that's cool.
Yeah, this is a prototype kind of our curling iron, but it's a longer barrel for longer hair. And it heats up really quick. You can turn it off really quick. It's a great curling iron.
That's insane that you did that fast, by the way. Okay, and now what are you doing?
Okay, so now we have Redken dry shampoo. I'm taking 1-inch sections and I'm just spraying the dry shampoo. This will kind of get any oil that might be in there. And then it also gives us some texture and a little bit of volume. So
This is a good
really
trick
quick
for the ladies
application.
that don't want to always be washing their hair every single day. And what's your
Yes.
take on that too? Should people be washing their hair every day?
Ideally, no, because it strips all the oil. So these products, like this dry shampoo from Redken, is a great way to just absorb that and kind of refresh your hair so you don't have to wash it every day, which also
like
just
that.
like takes so much time.
It
You
does.
don't have the time for that.
We need like a quick style when we're getting
Yes.
ready, at least I do. This is my favorite part, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited. You're showing us a teasing technique,
Yep.
but it's not the way that I learned. So what are you showing?
So I'm taking 1-inch sections again, and we kind of call it brick stacking. So I have a lot of tension here. I'm holding this tight, and I'm just pushing the hair down and almost like stacking bricks, so we can create volume. And I'm going to do this. We want it to sort of be like a wider volume look, opposed to like a, we don't want a big poof here.
Yeah,
We
the
want it to look
bump
more
that
natural.
used to be back in the day,
Right?
but I'm
Yeah,
sure
we
you
don't want
you don't want. Do you do this all around, like
Do
the?
it. Yep,
Okay.
all around. So 1-inch sections all around, and then I'm just stacking my bricks throughout
You
the
can
hair.
already see so much volume and a difference here. And then when you're done with this, what I love is there's a specific brush that you use to kind of smooth everything out, right? So what is that brush that
so
you
we'll
like?
go ahead and do that. And I have
Don't
our
worry, it's
Chromatique
coming.
crystal brush. So we're just gonna go and smooth over. You're not, like really pushing into the hair. You're just lightly smoothing over. And you can see this just sort of brings out the movement in the curl because we don't want that like really separated curl look.
Yeah, that
we want more
ringlet
of a
look.
Smooth. No, yes, definitely don't want that.
That's not in right now,
Nope,
you guys.
nope.
You want the big, like, Texas, beautiful pageant hair. Oh my
Right.
gosh, I cannot get over this. Can you also show, you were showing me the tease technique here too.
So,
I loved that
Okay,
tip.
so we're gonna encourage the curl here. And we're just gonna kind of go in where you see that curl and you're just lightly gonna push.
I've never seen
create
teasing down, like
volume.
always near like the crown of the head.
Yeah, so this is a really nice trick. And I mean, I keep a little comb in my purse, and even if I'm out or have anything, I can just do this
Do a
little
little zhoosh.
this little look, and so you can see this like beautiful volume.
Okay, now what?
Okay, so now we're just gonna do a little bit of this Kerastase glaze drops, just a tiny bit. You don't wanna overdo this.
What does this do?
So this is just gonna give us a little bit of shine because we don't want that dry look on the ends.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just smooth this on my fingertips, lightly running this down the bottom. Nothing
All
at the
this product
top.
smells so good too.
Oh my gosh, I love this smell.
Okay, now we're in for the final spray,
Okay,
and you
yes.
make the dancers stand up. So Lillian, we're
do.
gonna have you
I'm gonna
stand
have
up.
you stand
Why
up.
do they stand?
So that I can kind of see how the actual curl looks. I'm gonna have you face me, and then she's gonna go to the side. And I bring the curl out this way. They always wanna flip their head over, but this helps me actually see the look a little bit better and
This hair is
style it.
unreal.
And you guys can do this at home, so you just wanna kind of pull it up. And we're using a control hairspray. It's also anti-humidity from Redken. It's not super stiff, so we have a lot of movement because obviously we don't want it just totally frozen to their head.
No. And speaking of movement, we get to put this to the test. Lillian, you're gonna show us a dance movement. Here we go. I'm gonna get out of the way. You ready?
Yay!
That was so amazing. Oh my gosh, looking like $1 million. Thank you so much, y'all, for being here. This was so fun. And when we come back, we're getting organized in the financial world. A new book has tips to help women boost their confidence with money, so stick with us. Welcome back. My next guest firmly believes in recognizing ourselves as our most valuable asset, especially when it comes to our finances. Jane Stoller is the author of this new book, Organize Your Business, and she joins me now with some money confidence tips specifically for women. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm excited about this one. I need all the tips. So, what are the 5 financial building blocks every woman should know?
Well, first and foremost, our earning potential, which is really important. So earning is number 1. Saving, we know about saving, we've heard about it. Also protecting ourselves and our assets, which is often forgotten. Spending, which is important. And also borrowing. So those are the 5 kind of financial blocks which we don't always think about. We think about saving and borrowing, but we don't think about the protecting or even our earning and the capacity to earn more or in different ways.
Amazing. So why does money mindset matter, and why was that important for you to put in the book?
So really important, because I think as you grow and you're in corporate or you have your own business, sometimes we are scared to talk about money as women. We still talk about it less than men. But it's important because the more money we make as women, the more we can spend on our communities and charitable, the more people I can employ, or we can, it's just so much more you can do with money, and it's not a shameful thing to make more money. We want to look at it as an abundance. There's a lot of books out there now about money mindset and how it's a positive, look at it as a positive light, especially for women, because we can help so many people, and we actually love giving.
We do. And how can knowing your numbers reduce stress and shame, and what do you mean by this?
So I think it's really important to know numbers in terms of where you're at financially, of course, but in your home, if you have a business, of course, if you're in corporate, if you run operations, whatever it may be. But knowing your numbers is important because it gives you a baseline, of course, and also understanding, you know, how to organize everything from your receipts better, you know, what that means, what things you can write off personally, what things in a business. And also just knowing your business metrics and your home metrics. I talk a lot about that in my book too, and organizing your home like a business. So understanding, your expenses, where you can reduce, what's important, what are big spends coming up in the next 2 to 5 years. So just understanding the metrics, I think, is really important.
Yeah, you touched on this, but I want to dive in more. Organizing your home. You have a full chapter, you said, dedicated to that. So talk to me about that chapter.
So organizing your home, I say, is really important because it's where you spend most of your time. And we want it to feel not stressful. We want to come home. We want to make sure it feels good. We're not shamed about, receipts in the corner, paperwork you're not getting to, or a cluttered office or cluttered attic, or maybe you spent so much money on stuff in your closet you're not wearing. So organizing your home is really important. I say it's one of the first steps to really getting that financial freedom too. So having a dedicated space for maybe doing your finances once a month, or freeing some of those financial blocks. Maybe it's something you spend a lot of money on, or you want to get rid of something, or we also spend a lot of money on our homes. So it's really important we have a plan for that, systems for tackling the finances in the home, but also what's coming in, what's coming out, and making it a system with everybody in the home.
Why did you want to write this book specifically, and what are you hoping people take away?
So for the last 10 years, I've been helping mostly women entrepreneurs organize their business, and I do this through coaching, and it's evolved into 6 steps on how to organize any business and home. And for the last 6 years, a lot of women have been going through my course, and I just want to make it more widely available now. So there's 6 really simple steps on how to organize any business. So this book is really for helping women just gain a little bit more control, and this book makes it accessible to anybody.
So great. I want to get to your personal story you wanted to share as well. So freezing your eggs.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because I call it a financial decision as well. I was 32 at the time, and it was down in Los Angeles, and it was $10,000 then. I believe it's a bit more now, but it's a lot of money.
It is.
Especially I was just starting in my career, but that's money where I invested in myself. And I think as women, we forget that's an investment in ourselves. So I knew I wanted to continue to build a career. It allowed me time and peace to really focus on myself. And now my twins are 7 months old.
Congrats.
So I use those eggs, and it just it's really an investment in yourself.
Amazing. How has the feedback on your book been so far?
So it just launched very recently, September 4th, but already a lot of my coaching clients have picked it up and referred it to people who perhaps have not taken my course or have started a business, want to start a business, and just general organizing tips. So really good response, and I'm just hoping, we pass it along and we understand that a lot of us say, oh, I'm not organized, or I'm disorganized, but really we can take a few small steps to become more organized. So that's where this book, I hope, is inspiring to a lot of people to be able to get more organized.
I know. I love what you said there, because don't just say you're lazy or you're not organized. Make a change.
Yeah.
And it can start with your book by reading it for tips.
Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. And just a reminder, Jane is holding an author event at Barnes & Noble at Northgate Station on Saturday, September 13th. So check that out. And we'll be right back with a round of What You Watchin', plus a look back at the history of Broadway with a former member of the Fifth Avenue Theater. So make sure you stay with us.
It's a new day.
Welcome back. If your remote has been working overtime, you're not alone. It's time to discuss this week's must-see shows in another round of What You Watchin'. Yay! And let's bring in my producers, Susie Wiley and Rebecca Perry. Hello, ladies.
Hey!
We are starting off strong with my pick, Stick
Nice.
on Apple TV. If you want a lighthearted series, I think this one is amazing. Owen Wilson is in it. Wilson plays an ex-golfer who's fired from his job, who coaches a troubled teen prodigy. He's also dealing with his wife leaving him, and he's banking his entire future on the youth's success. This one is laugh out funny. It kind of reminds me of Ted Lasso with that same feel-good vibe, and it follows the pair to the U.S. Amateur Open, a true makeshift group of underdogs. I'm only a couple episodes in the 10-part series, but I'm honestly loving it. I've been missing Ted Lasso vibes, so to have this back in my life, and Owen Wilson on the big screen.
There's so many
I'm
good
in.
people in there. I love Judy Greer too.
Yes.
I think she's awesome.
I know, it kind of has a big stage cast.
And I'm with you. Owen Wilson can almost do no wrong when it comes to TV. He's self-deprecating. I think he's pretty cute myself.
I do
but-
too. I do, like, yeah, maybe that's a hot take that we think he's adorable with his, whatever, something
fine.
for everyone.
I like
Rebecca
it.
and Susie too, I want to switch gears. Both of you guys are not watching
A
a
big switch.
lighthearted comedy, sports comedy, Unknown Number. I've been seeing this everywhere on social media. Rebecca, can you set it up?
Yeah, so this is, it's a documentary on Netflix, and we are not going to spoil the ending to this because I know there's a ton of spoilers
Yes.
out there. But this basically follows a young teenage couple. I think they're like in their freshman year or something in this really small town. And they start getting these texts that are like not super nice, but also like kind of innocent. But then as time goes on, the texts get really inappropriate and they ramp up. And the whole documentary is that they're kind of like trying to figure out who are sending these texts so they can stop it. They end up getting the school involved. They end up getting like local law enforcement involved, and then it ends up going all the way to like to the FBI. Like it's a really, really big deal.
It's a real small town, so
Yes.
everybody's invested in this, and some kids get accused, and
Yes.
all sorts of things happen. It hurts your heart because the way this documentary was made, they actually show all the text on the screen, and as Rebecca mentioned, they get worse and worse. They get beyond anything I've ever even thought of or could think of.
Yeah.
And it's even to the point of pushing the kids to think about ending their life. So
Yeah.
it's,
Oh, that's awful.
it's a tough one.
So my daughter actually turned this one on, and I was just in the room. And as you know, throughout the documentary, like they bring up the different suspects and everything, and I'm like, oh. Is that the one? Did that one do it? And she's like, Mom, I don't know. I'm watching it with you. But they really do a good job of kind of like fleshing out who all the suspects are. And I can tell you that in the end, woo! There is a twist, and that is kind of what everybody is talking about.
I know, that's what I've seen on TikTok and everything. It hasn't ruined it for me because you guys say it's still worth a watch.
Right,
so
even if you
I'm going to take your word
know
for
the
it.
ending, still watch it.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
And now we're going from the world of TV and film to the stage. Many in the theater world here in Seattle know of David Armstrong as Fifth Avenue Theater's artistic director and executive producer from 2000 to 2018. And now he adds the title of author. This is his new book, Broadway Nation: How Immigrant, Jewish, Queer, and Black Artists Invented the Broadway Musical. So much to learn about here, and David joins me now.
Hello.
Hi. So first off, tell us about your work at the Fifth Avenue Theater.
Well, from 2000 to 2018, I was the producing artistic director and then eventually the executive director of the Fifth Avenue Theater. So I always say it was all my fault, basically. If you liked the shows that we did during those periods, it was my fault. If you didn't like them, it was also my fault. But it was a thrilling time. It was a job of a lifetime. It was amazing.
That's so special. And tell us too about your work at UW, which led to this book, I understand.
So when I left Fifth Avenue, the University of Washington School of Drama approached me about teaching a course there. And so I thought, well, and about teaching a course on the history of the Broadway musical. And so I started putting that together, and I've taught there since 2018 every year. And out of that, it's really, the first came of my podcast, which is also called Broadway Nation, which was sort of a general audience friendly version of my lectures that I do at the University of Washington. And then I got approached by the publishers of this book, Bloomsbury Publishing, to would I be interested in writing a book based on my course that I teach at the University of Washington.
How long did it take you to put this together?
It was a two-year effort, absolutely, and with many, many long days of writing. I, again, loved every minute of it, but it was a giant endeavor.
Oh my gosh, what can people find in this book?
It's a comprehensive history of the Broadway musical for the entire 125-year history of the Broadway musical, right up to today, what it brings forward in ways that many other books, there are a lot of great books about Broadway, but this one focuses on how immigrant, Jewish, queer, and Black artists were the primary inventors of the Broadway musical and have sustained the Broadway musical throughout its history. So it's this weird thing that's sort of an outcast art form, and yet it's at the center of American culture.
Gosh, and why do you think Broadway has remained so popular 125 years after its creation?
Because it involves, it creates an experience that you can't replicate any other way. It's the live theater experience. Look at the Wicked. What will be
one of my favorites?
Yeah, and what will be the big movie event of this year? Wicked Part 2, which is a Broadway musical. So what's, I think, quite amazing is 125 years later, Broadway is still at the center of American culture. And there's Hairspray. That is a show which started here in Seattle at the Fifth Avenue Theater. We did the world premiere of it in 2001, and it's gone on to be one of the great it's now a historic musical, and it went from the Fifth Avenue Theater to Broadway and won the Tony Award for Best Musical. And that is Times Square, which is, of course, throughout this whole period, really my book starts when Times Square becomes the center of the theater world. And that's the back of George M. Cohan, who, is one of those names that still more than 100 years later, we know his songs, we know who he was, because he's one of the inventors of the Broadway musical, one of those immigrant inventors of the Broadway musical.
Fascinating. Were there any big surprises while writing this book that you just were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is true?
Yeah, and I thought I knew everything about the Broadway musical, but as I started doing the research first to teach the course and then for the book, there were a lot of surprises, things I didn't know or I only knew this little bit about, and there was this whole world, especially in terms of the involvement of black creators, of the black artists, were so much more involved and so much more prominent, and then sort of got forgotten about for many reasons, some of which you can imagine. But there's especially in the earliest days, the earliest decade, from 1900 to 1910, there were 20 black musicals on Broadway, and which we just have forgotten about. So part of the book is to bring that forward, and women especially were also much more involved in the creation of the Broadway musical than we generally acknowledge throughout the entire period.
Gosh, okay. And what role has Seattle played in the history of Broadway musical?
Surprising a lot, partly through the Fifth Avenue Theater, starting with Hairspray. I'm happy to say that during the time I was there, we sent 9 musicals to Broadway, including Hairspray, which won the Tony Award, Memphis, which won the Tony Award for Best Musical, and Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin started at the Fifth Avenue Theater, is still running on Broadway today. But then other theaters like the Seattle Rep has been involved with Come From Away, which the Fifth Avenue was also slightly involved in. And then the Intiman Theater sent Light in the Piazza to Broadway during that time. So there's been a lot, it's been an incubator for new work, for new Broadway musicals, which have their world premiere in Seattle and then go to Broadway. So everyone in Seattle who's participated in seeing those shows is part of the history of the Broadway musical.
So exciting. Where can people find your book?
My book is available everywhere books are found, certainly on Amazon, but I recommend if you go to bloomsbury.com, which is the publisher's website, you get a 10% discount.
There you go. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And just a reminder, David is actually holding an author event at the Elliott Bay Book Company on Friday, September 12th at 7 p.m. And next, disasters are hitting closer to home, and older adults are often the most vulnerable. Coming up, how you and your loved ones can get prepared before the next emergency strikes. Stick with us. September is National Preparedness Month. Wildfires, storms, and other disasters are becoming more frequent, yet many of us aren't as ready as we should be. Older adults are often the hardest hit when disaster strikes, so preparedness is key. Marguerite Rowe, AARP State Director, is here along with Holly Stark with Washington's Emergency Management Division. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Good morning.
Yes. So, Marguerite, I want to start with you. AARP, I understand, surveyed older adults about disaster planning. So, what did this survey reveal?
Well, the survey revealed that about 60% of older adults surveyed felt like they were confident that they were prepared for a natural disaster. But then when you look sort of a little bit deeper, only a third actually have a plan in place. And if you think about it, like just even getting the notices, only like 1 out of 10 older adults have signed up for those text messages, like on your phone, right? In the event of an emergency.
Gosh, okay, so we need to get them prepared. We need to all be prepared, but we really this needs to be top of mind. And we're all aware too that we should be planning for our households, or hopefully we are, but taking care of a loved one, we have some extra steps to think about. So what are those tips and steps?
Yeah, you know, thinking about older adults, whether it's because they have chronic diseases or whether it's because of mobility issues, those are some of the things that we have to be thinking about. And as I even think about, you know, taking care of my parents, it's where are you going to meet in the event of a disaster if you don't live close by them? If they live in a long-term care facility, do you actually know what the plan is of that facility in the event of an emergency?
Yeah, it all makes sense, and the needs and challenges for older adults can be sometimes even more than the rest of us to think about. Holly, I want to get to you. The Emergency Management Division coordinates disaster response and recovery efforts. What are the most common disasters that are facing Washingtonians?
Well, so in my program, Hazards and Outreach, we focus on our geologic hazards. So the big three: earthquake, tsunami, and volcano. So in Washington, we have the second highest earthquake risk in the nation after California. We are earthquake country. We also have 3,000 miles of shoreline. So if you ever play on the coast or on the Puget Sound, all of that shoreline is at risk of tsunamis. And we have 5 active volcanoes.
We have it all.
We really do. And those are what we call the low probability but very high consequence events. But we also like to talk about some of the more frequent hazards, like flooding, like wildfires that we're seeing more and more, like those extreme weathers, so those high heat domes in the summer and extreme winter storms. One thing about National Preparedness Month, the theme this year is preparedness starts at home, and I love that. Because when I go out and talk to people, and when I was meeting you in the lobby, we want to focus on what would be the disaster in your home. And that might be the big earthquake, right? If you're a little bit more prepared. And it might be just an extended power outage from one of those smaller disasters. If you're caring for older adults and you rely on power for medical equipment or refrigerated medication or specialized food, that could be your disaster, and it's a great place to start thinking about preparedness in your home.
Yeah, and I understand there's some resources, right, to help families. What are those?
We have some really great resources on our website, and I would point people to it's mil.wa.gov/preparedness, and that's mil.wa.gov/preparedness.
Amazing. And also, what's the #1 action you think that families should be taking to be disaster ready, and the one that is the #1 that some people miss?
The one thing I always tell people to do, and it goes right back to Marguerite's point, sign up for alerts. Learn what you're going to do and how you're going to get alerted when an event is taking place. Most of our local jurisdictions here in Washington have the opportunity for you to opt in for those, and you're going to get site-specific information. But also, a lot of us are familiar with getting alerts on your phone, like those Amber Alerts that comes through our wireless emergency alert system, and what that protective action that it's telling you to do. And we want people to read those and understand we're asking you to do something to keep you safe. And then the one thing I think is the most common missed is that it takes practice. People think, oh, I've got my go kit and I've got my little plan and I'm done.
Yeah.
But preparedness is a journey. And I always go back to what my son's kindergarten teacher used to say, practice makes permanent. We're never going to be perfect in an emergency. But if we involve our whole family, and especially those that we give care to, in this practicing and this journey, then we're all going to be more empowered when it happens.
Gosh, absolutely. I like that. I thought you were going to say practice makes perfect, but you gave the switch there. Marguerite, lastly, what's your message to family caregivers when it comes to preparing too?
First, you always have to take care of yourself, right? So make sure that you have a plan. But then take that next step and prepare for your loved one. And especially for older adults, whether it's the documents, it's where to go, whether it's a notification, and then making sure that they have the emergency supplies that they need. Helping them prepare their to-go kit is just as important.
Amazing. Ladies, this was so important. Thank you for all of your information. And to make sure your family is ready before a disaster strikes, visit the website that you see on your screen. You'll find some resources and information about the upcoming disaster planning webinar next Wednesday, September 17th. And next up, pumpkins aren't just for carving. Coming up, we're heading to Sky Vale Farm for fresh, festive ideas to decorate your home with fall's favorite fruit.
New Day Northwest is sponsored by AARP and VECU.
It's a new day.
Fall is in the air and nothing says autumn quite like pumpkins. At Sky Vale Pumpkins in Monroe, they know all about celebrating fall with their acres of pumpkins ready to harvest. And whether you're decorating your porch, your table, or your whole home, they've got creative ideas to help you celebrate the season in style. Valerie Warren joins me, and you have quite the decor today.
Thank you.
It's feeling like fall. I
Absolutely.
like it.
Absolutely.
What started your love of pumpkins with Sky Vale Pumpkins?
Well, this is actually a lifelong love. My brother and I, growing up, would grow big Atlantic giants, and we would sell them from the end of our driveway to make some spending money. I think this love came from my father because he's the one that had us do it. And then just a few years ago, when my husband and I moved back to our family farm, we started growing pumpkins, and we would grow more and more every year. We had a pumpkin picking day where we would invite all of our friends and family over, and they would just pick pumpkins to their heart's content, and it brings so much joy. And so that's definitely where this comes from.
Amazing. And people obviously love to decorate pumpkins this time of year, and you have some tips that you're going to tell us about. But first, we're actually going to look at some of your work. We have some pictures here. So what are we seeing with this? This is lovely.
Oh, this is our package number 2. This is on obviously a gorgeous front porch, and this is like 2 hay bales and just a whole big assortment of pumpkins. We've got jack-o'-lanterns in there and what we call our specialty pumpkins. They're the non-jack-o'-lantern types, and there's some white ghost pumpkins in there, and they really just like welcome you into a home.
Yes.
It gives such a charming vibe. This is a little bit different feel. This is our neutrals package. And
love a neutral.
Absolutely, right? And it's so beautiful. It's muted. You've got all of like the seafoam greens and the darker greens and the pinks. There's some really, really pale oranges in there, and it just pops with the white.
Ooh, this is vibrant.
I know, right? It works so great. I absolutely loved this house and front door with the pumpkins. And again, it's like that welcoming in. I think pumpkins always add like so much charm and warmth to an entry. So I loved doing this one.
Oh
yes.
This is my vibe.
Yes. No, this one is fabulous. This is actually also a neutrals package, but we added some darker pumpkins in there. Like you can see, some of them are so dark green they're almost black, but I mean black is a neutral.
And it's matching with the door and the vibe of the house.
Absolutely. No, I really loved this one. And this one we added in a hay bale with it, and just to like kind of plump up that side. And yeah, I love the way it welcomes in.
Ew.
And this is another aspect actually, is doing storefronts. This was a super fun business in Lake Stevens, and they were doing a Gilmore Girls like fall thing for November.
Cute.
And so we did these pumpkins, like in Gilmore Girls, everything is just like to the nines, like super, super festive. And so we just did piles for this entry, and they're right at the entryway, but you can also see peeping through the door that they're right inside too, and it's just, this was a really fun install.
All of those are so different and so fun, vibrant, warm, and now you're going to share some tips and tricks. What do you look for when you're putting together a pumpkin display?
Well, I am looking for a few different things. I am looking for different sizes. I'm looking for different colors. I'm looking for different textures. Like if you look here, there's definitely all of that going on. We've got layers here. These aren't just all lined up in a row.
Okay.
Like there's layers to it. There's definitely a back, a medium, there's small ones sprinkled on top. When you're designing with pumpkins, it's super important to start with like your bigger ones first. It's easier that way. They're your foundation, your building block, and then you move in and you can do the smaller ones, and then we end up like sprinkling like the gourds on top just for a little bit of extra.
So that's the end when you're looking at different
absolutely.
textures
And then you're going,
sizes.
okay, I'm gonna put that in there, and that's gonna, like the colors in these gourds, they really marry all of the different colors that you see in here.
Yeah, and I loved what you were telling me before we started, just how you start with one if one doesn't want to stand up correctly.
Yes.
So tell me about that tip.
You work with the pumpkin that you have. These are field grown. They do not all grow perfectly. They don't all want to stand up perfectly straight. Like you'll notice that there's some, it's kind of hard to see, I buried him. But he's on his side. He does not want to sit on his bottom
And
nicely.
that's fine.
And that's fine. You work with the pumpkin that you have. And I think it adds a little more visual interest. I think it makes it more fun.
These are really doing it for me. I'm excited for fall. And if you don't want to do the work yourself though, because there's some people that are just not into it, Pumpkin Concierge Service. Tell me about this.
Absolutely. So Sky Vale Pumpkins is a pumpkin concierge service. It's a delivery and design company. And what that means is that we have pumpkin packages already set up for you on our website. You just go on there, you select which one you want. We will deliver them to your home or your business, and we will set them up for you.
And there you are. So it kind of reminds me of like Instacart in a way, like where you get it online and then you come back after work and you're doing all the work and design for us.
Absolutely. We do the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Like the whole idea is that we save you the trips to the grocery store digging through bins, and we save you trudging through the mud at a pumpkin patch if you don't want to. Like we can do this for you. We will do the heavy lifting. We do the delivery and design, and we even have an option that at the end of the season, we will come and pick them up for you.
Oh.
You don't have to touch them.
Okay, easy does it. I'm all in on this service. Thank you so much for being here.
You.
And if you want to use Sky Vale's Pumpkin Concierge Service, they have started booking out the dates and times on their website. And thanks for spending time with us today. You can check our website for more of our content, and you can always send us an email to share your thoughts. Do not forget to enjoy your new day, and we'll see you next time.
It's a new